This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, thank you very much, guys, for joining in. We are going to be talking today on credit rating and credit rating agencies. Okay, now this is important for your FRM level of preparation. Okay, so we're going to be discussing few topics which are related directly to your exam, and few topics which are basically going to help you understand the rating agency in a better way. Okay, hence it is a part of the foundation of finance series which we have started. Okay, and what exactly when we hear a term credit rating, what exactly does that mean? Okay, so credit rating can be given for an individual or for a company. Okay, so that we can understand what is the possible, I'm repeating, what is the possible credit risk associated with that company or an individual. Okay, now if suppose I'm giving out loan to a company, okay, by way of purchasing a bond, okay, by way of purchasing any debentures of the company. Okay, so I need to understand what is the risk when I'm giving this money to that company. Similarly, when I'm giving out loan to an individual, I want to understand what is the riskiness of that person. Okay, for an individual, whenever a bank is lending out any loan, they look at the CIBIL score, that is nothing but your individual's credit rating. Okay, but for a company, when I am giving out loan, I would look at their credit rating given by a credit rating agency. Okay, so the intention is to identify the credit risk associated with an individual or a company. For today's discussion, our major focus would be on company. Okay, it helps you to identify the credit worthiness and the credentials. Okay, when I'm saying credential, what does that mean? Suppose if company, there is a company called ITC which wants to start out a new plant, okay, in the market, new power plant, or say for example new manufacturing unit, they need money. So when they're coming and asking for money from the market, rating agency will check what is the need for money, how they are going to invest in the market. All of these external factors will be checked by the rating agency and will get reflected in your rating. Okay, will get reflected in your rating. So that is why the word credential comes into picture. Okay, from an individual perspective, obviously the rating credit rating will focus on the lending and the borrowing transaction done in the past. That means for an individual, suppose I want to purchase a washing machine, and that too on loan. Okay, so my CIBIL score will be checked, and that CIBIL score will reflect what has been my past transaction. Okay, similarly, when I'm rating for a company, the past history of the company will be checked. That means the statement of liabilities, the statement of asset, okay, their ability to meet debt obligation, very very important, their ability to repay the loan will also be assessed. Okay, that is what the first slide talks about. It gives you a basic introduction what exactly is a credit rating. But and who is giving us the credit rating? There are agencies assigned. Okay, there are agencies assigned, there are agencies given authorities by the regulatory bodies, not only in India but across the globe, to decide and tell the investors what exactly a rating can be. Okay, so this, kindly read the first two bullet points. It will give you a brief idea about the rating agencies. Their responsibility is to evaluate, okay, not only an individual but also a company, okay, whoever is the target for them, and they will evaluate on the basis of so many parameters, and they will give a particular rating which an investor, okay, or somebody who is lending out money can easily understand and take decision on. Okay, and the ultimate aim is to identify the credit risk. Ultimate aim is to identify the credit risk of the transaction. Okay, kindly also read this part, the last part. So in India, Securities Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, basically decides, gives authorities to the agencies to decide who can give rating. Okay, so we'll go to the list of international rating agencies. We'll go to the list of international rating agencies and we'll try to see, okay, what these rating agency, what this rating conveys, and who all are the international rating agencies. First of all, very very important point which I have highlighted over here is that rating, when a rating agency is giving a rating, it is just an opinion. It is their opinion about the credit worthiness of the company. Now in 2007-2008 crisis, okay, a lot of these instruments which were available in the market were rated very highly, but they defaulted. So there were court cases against the rating agencies, and in that court cases also it was very clearly came out that these ratings are mere opinion given by the rating agency. It depends upon the investor whether to believe on that rating opinion or not. Okay, most of the rating agencies, the global rating agencies, try to give rating with some variation. That means they have individually their own methodology. They individually have their own methodology to define the rating. Okay, so there are three global rating agencies: S&P, Fitch, and Moody's. We're going to be looking at that in the next slide. These rating agencies will have their own rating methodology to identify the rating. They will have their own rating scales also. Okay, kindly read the second paragraph. In case of any queries, kindly put it on chat. Kindly put it on chat. We'll try to address the query, or else in the end we'll open up for queries also. Kindly read the last paragraph. Okay, in the last paragraph, did you see this point? A credit rating compresses an enormous amount of diverse information into a single rating symbol. That means the rating agencies will take so much different parameters to identify the real risk of the company, and they will convert that into a single rating symbol, which is basically a rating scale. Okay, which we'll see in the further slides. Okay, now coming to the global rating agencies need. Why do we need a rating agency? Okay, obviously in the previous section we said what does rating convey, but right now our focus is why does a market need a rating agency? Okay, so suppose there are people with a lot of money available with them. That means there are investors who want to lend out to either companies to for a project or for an individual. Okay, they have money which they want to invest in the market. Okay, and there are, say for example, the borrowers, the company who need money for their respective projects or respective plans. Okay, now whenever these two parties wants to meet in the market to give out money or to basically invest in the companies, they need a third party's assurance. Okay, to make sure that the decision that they're taking is right. That is where your credit rating agency comes into picture. So that means whenever an investor wants to invest in a particular company, say for example through a bond, so the investor will look at the bond's rating to identify and take a decision whether he should invest or not. Okay, whether he should invest or not. That is a primary reason why rating agencies exist in the market. Okay, now what is the benefit for the investor and what is the benefit for the person who is borrowing, means company? Okay, so if suppose I'm a lender, somebody who has a lot of money, I'm an investor. Okay, when I see a credit rating, I can take a very informed decision. Very informed decision. That means I can go and see if Kingfisher Airline is having a rating of CCC, which is very not good. So I will not put my money into that, but I will put my money into Tata Group, which has a very good rating. So my investment decision also improves by looking at the rating scale or the rating given by the rating agency. Okay, unknown borrower. Now this is a very interesting point. Suppose if there is somebody who wants to raise money from the market, but he is new to the market. Suppose a new company, a new subsidiary of a company. Now in that case, you do not have a track record or a history on which you can rely on. So the rating given by the rating agencies can give you a clear indication of what the risk of that particular instrument can be or that company can be. Okay, so whenever there are new people who want to come and raise money from the market, the rating agency can help them to give a clear picture to the audience and how the riskiness of that investment can be. Okay, for somebody, okay, for somebody who wish to borrow money. Okay, suppose if I am a company, okay, say Hindustan Unilever, and I want to raise money from Indian market. Okay, if I go and get a rating done by a rating agency, okay, my rate of interest generally becomes very less. Why? Because now a third party has already assessed the riskness of that instrument or that project, and it is giving a surety to the investor that there is a third party assessment which has been done, which is an independent third party assessment. Okay, hence you can truly understand the risk. Okay, without a credit rating, there is a lot of ambiguity, there is a lot of there's no transparency in the riskiness of the projects, hence the interest rate will also go high. Okay, this is a very, very important point. Next is easy loan approval. Okay, suppose if I am going to go in the market for taking out loan or taking out money from the market, okay, then having a credit rating agency gives a confidence to the investor, and it becomes easy to raise money from the market. Okay, suppose you are an SME. SME means small and medium enterprise, okay, in India, and you want to raise money from any bank, then bank will ask you to take a rating from either ICRA, which is a rating agency in India, or CARE or CRISIL. Okay, once you have the credit rating, then they will, on the basis of that credit rating and their own internal assessment, they will give you money. So their primary requirement is to go and get the rating. Okay, any confusion? Are you guys with me till this point? Kindly confirm on chat. Are you guys with me till this point? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. In case of any queries, put it on chat. Okay, some of the examples of global credit rating agencies. Okay, S&P. Okay, S&P Standard and Poor's, Fitch, Moody's. So once you complete your FRM, these companies also hire FRM. Okay, they have offices in India. So definitely it's a good opportunity. The credit rating business is very interesting. So these are the global players who are available in the market. There are some Indian players also who are kind of subsidiary of the global player. That means CRISIL is a subsidiary of S&P. Okay, India Rating and Research is a subsidiary of Fitch, and ICRA is a subsidiary of Moody. But there are also other independent Indian rating agencies who are there in the market and who are giving the rating on the instrument and on the companies. Okay, so these are the companies, these are the rating agencies when we are referring about who is giving the rating, who rates basically. Okay, so these are players which are available in Indian market. Now let us go to the rating scale. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. Okay, please understand that we are looking right now from the international players perspective. That means international players perspective. That means S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. Okay, these three are the big rating agencies available in the market. We are global players. Now, can you guys look at the rating scale? Can you guys look at the rating scale? So previously we mentioned that rating agencies look at so much information and they understand the credit risk and convert it into a rating. That rating has been given over here. That rating has been given over here. Can you guys see this? S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. Okay, so everybody kind of starts with AAA. What does AAA means? That your rating is very high, okay, and your risk is very low. This also means that you are a prime rated customer. You are a prime rated customer. Okay, if your rating is in the top branch, okay, then you also see that the rating comes down from AAA to AA. Okay, now obviously everybody has a different way of writing AA. So can you look at this? This entire section is AA. So S&P is writing AA plus, AA minus. So within AA they have created 3 more branches. Okay, within AA they have created 3 more branches. Okay. Similarly, if you go to Moody, they are writing AA in a different sense, but the same logic applies over there. They have written AA1, AA2, AA3. Okay, so that way the bifurcation will happen, but the broader level is same. So you actually start out with AAA, okay, then you have AA, then you have single A, then you have BBB. Now till this point, that means till this point, okay, this is called as investment grade. It is called as investment grade, which means that if you are in this grade, then you have a very good credit quality. Your risk is generally low, okay, and a lot of these bigger companies like LIC, the pension funds, mutual funds, they are restricted by the regulation in India at least that they can only invest in investment graded companies. That means they can only put their money into companies who fall into this first bucket of investment grade. Okay, If suppose your rating is below this, that is called as non-investment grade. That is called as non-investment grade, or also called as speculative grade. Non-investment grade or called as speculative grade, which starts from double B, single B, triple C, double C, and a single C. It keeps on going down. Okay, so rating scale starts with triple A, ends with single C, and then there is a default D. Okay, but the first section, which is basically starting from triple A to triple B, this section is called as investment grade. Whatever is below that is also called as non-investment grade or speculative grade. Okay, in some time in the market you will also hear a term junk grade for non-investment grade also. So these are market nomenclature, but the basic idea or intuition is the same, that whoever is having a higher rating, that means lower risk. Okay, going towards a decision making, how does a rating company or a rating agency decides? Okay, so they take a lot of information. Now the first and the very important information they take, which industry you are in. Are you in infrastructure industry? Are you in retail industry? Are you in FMCG? Are you in banking? So what is the riskiness of that industry? That will decide the rating. That is one first important parameter. Then you will also look at what is the situation. You will also look at what is the situation in the market. Okay, suppose if the market is very very risky, or people are not investing because of COVID, a lot of companies, a lot of customers did not came out and started buying in market, so that made the market position very weak. Okay, so these rating agencies will also do an assessment about the market. Okay, and also they will do the final assessment of operational efficiency. That means how good a company is being run, operational efficiency. Once you have these three, which is industrial risk, market position, and operational efficiency, you combine it and you identify the business risk of that company. You identify the business risk of that company. That means if suppose we are giving a rating to a company over a period of time, how do you see this company doing business? In a very simple term. Okay, this is the first important parameter, business risk. The second important parameter is your financial risk. That means if suppose we are giving a rating to the company, what is his ability to sustain in terms of money? Do they have sufficient money to sustain for a period of time? So they will do a lot of calculation. They will do quick ratio, financial ratio, leverage ratio, all of this mathematical thing to identify what is the financial risk of that company. Okay, then the third important assessment is what is a management risk. Who is running the company? Are those people actually genuine? Okay, now if suppose you know that the board of director of the company, there is somebody called Vijay Mallya. Now you already know from your past experience that this guy has done some fraud in the previous company. Now obviously the riskiness of this company also increases because that person is also on the board of director now. Okay, so rating agency will not like it and they will reduce the rating for that company because the management risk is very high. There are people in the management who can do fraud and who have the ability to do fraud. Okay, so these are the three important parameters which they will take into consideration when they will come up with the rating. Okay, apart from these three important parameters are smaller things. For example, if the company is raising money for a particular project, then we'll also look at the riskiness of that project. Okay, we'll also see if there is any other parent company available. Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. Suppose Tata Sons, which is the parent company for Tata XYZ company, for example. Now this XYZ company is raising money from the market. Okay, now we know that this Tata XYZ is actually a subsidiary of Tata Sons, which is a Tata Group company. Now we know that there will always be a support from that parent company in case this Tata XYZ is not doing good. So having a parent company support increases its value. Okay, so they will also take that into consideration and come up with the final credit rating of a company. I'm taking a quick pause I'm taking a quick pause. I hope everybody is with me. Kindly confirm if you have any queries till now, and or are you guys with me till now? So any example of project risk? Okay, say for example, Reliance is planning to come up with Geo. Okay, they need 50,000 crore rupees, and they are going in the market to issue non-convertible debentures. So they need rating for that non-convertible debenture so that investors can put their money. So when a rating agency, for example S&P, is going to rate, okay, when the rating agency is going to rate, they will look at the project also, that how big scale that project is, what is the additional funding that will be required, okay, what is the current research that they have done, how many people are involved, how they are going to grow in the market. All of that assessment will have to be submitted by the Reliance company to that rating agency so that they can take a very good judgment about that project also. Yes, global rating agencies do rate. So there is a question: can global rating agencies rate Indian companies? Yes. So they do rate Indian companies through their subsidiary. So for example, S&P is going to rate through CRISIL, which is basically an S&P global company. So Amarnath, so the next question is from Amarnath asking, when company is going with a new product, okay, or they are launching a new service, right? Does the rating also matters over there? Rating will only come into picture when they are going in the market and asking for money. Asking for money. Okay, suppose if I am Colgate and I am coming up with a new product, then my rating doesn't matter because it's a business decision. But when I'm going and raising money from the market, capital market, okay, financial market, then the rating is important. Okay. So for example, the next question that people have posted is, if suppose a company has got a non-investment grade rating, that means speculative grade rating. Okay. So what is the normal process? We'll be talking about the rating process also, in which suppose if I am a rating agency and there is ITC and I have given them non-investment grade rating. So before informing everybody else outside, I will first go to the ITC company, inform them that this is the rating that I am going to give. If you want to appeal against this rating, you have a time window available, okay, because this has been done as per our analysis, okay. If you have some additional information, you can come to us and you can appeal that this rating is incorrect, okay, and basis that the rating can be changed, okay. So obviously before the information goes out, the information is first given out to the company, okay. Companies can reapply, but still the entire activity which has been done by the rating agency, they will not go and redo that activity. They've got a perfect proper rating from their own assessment. So companies generally they try to get rating from two three rating agency. Yes, they can try to get rating from 2-3 rating agency. That is fine. Yes, because see, each rating agency is having their own methodology. Okay, so they can have their own logic, own systems to identify what should be the risk of the company. So having a rating from 2-3 companies is not a problem. Okay, so now moving ahead, we'll start with the rating process. Okay, so can you guys see this? I've shown you the entire flow. I've shown you the entire flow. Now we'll be talking about this entire flow one by one. The first thing, receipt of the request. Suppose if I am ITC and I'm going towards to a rating agency company, say S&P. So I will first go and file a formal request for a rating. Okay, then there will be an agreement between the ITC company and that rating agency, suppose S&P. Okay, that agreement will define how the rating is going to be done. Okay, basically, and it will also explain what all information the rating agency needs from that company. Okay, what all information, extra information, some material that is required, the meeting time. So obviously the rating agency company will meet the management of the company. Okay, so that entire thing will be discussed in that agreement. So kindly read this part, the first chunk. Kindly read the first part. It tells you what there is an agreement and what all important parts are kept in that agreement. Okay, so a lot of confidential information has to be passed on to the rating agency. A lot of confidential information is required to be passed on to the rating agency. If the going back to the previous query, so Sachin is asking if the rating is rejected by the company, do you still go and inform? So ideally no. Okay, because generally what happens is that this discussion happens mutually and they decide if there is any further information that will change the rating. If there is no, then there's no further point for discussion. So it actually comes down to the mutual discussion and then they release the rating. Okay, so and in this slide which we have just now completed, receipt of the request, do you guys understand that ITC wants to rate themselves and they are going to the rating agency, so they are paying to the rating agencies also. Okay, so now what all information do they need? All the critical confidential information has to be passed on to the rating agencies. Okay, the list of all the information will be defined in that agreement. Okay, it will also give the right the issuer of the company to accept or not to accept the rating. That is fine, but this rating agency has done its work. They have given a rating as per their understanding. Now it depends upon the company either to use it or not use it. Either to use it or not use it. Okay, so this is the first step where the rating, the request is going. Okay, going to the next step. So once, if suppose I'm S&P, I get the request, I will assign a team. Okay, those teams generally include analysts and associates, okay, who are expert for that domain. So we have teams, for example, infrastructure companies who are looking at real estate companies, who are looking at FMCG companies, okay, power plant, power related companies, energy companies. So we have separate teams. So whenever the request comes, that request is given to that team. Okay, the expert team who have relevant business area experience or expertise. Okay, then that team starts working. They get all the information. They get all the information from the company, which is confidential information. They are not supposed to pass that information outside, and on the basis of all the information they will do their analysis. Okay, they will ask for financial information, they will ask for project related information, business related information, and on the basis of all the information they will do their models, they will run their own subjective assessment, they will do their own analysis of the data. Okay, once this analysis is completed, okay, they also go and visit the plant and meet with the management. Now suppose if I am looking out for a particular project, or suppose if I already have a manufacturing plant and I need money to increase the size of that manufacturing plant, then my rating agency companies will come to the site and they will look at the operation, they will have questions, they will talk to the workers, they will talk to the management, okay, to get a first-hand feel about the project or first-hand feel about the information that has been given to them. Okay, so that is where your team visits happen. They interact with the company's executive. Okay, this helps them to understand what is the production process that the company is using, what is the product that the company is coming up with, how do they create the product. All this entire information is being assessed by the rating agency people. Okay, if it's not a manufacturing unit, it's just a service center, generally then they come and only meet the management. Okay, they try to understand what is the management's vision about the company for the next 5 years, 10 years. Any critical information which can have an impact on the rating is also being sought out in this stage. Okay, this is a very important step. Okay, they ideally have an open dialogue. Okay, open dialogue, this point is very important. Open dialogue with the company's management, because they want to give rating which is forward looking. What does forward looking mean? What is going to happen to the company in the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? That is what it is. And hence you need a lot of non-public information, material non-public information, which is going to come out in the next few months, outside, right? So that information is needed so that they can give that forward looking assessment properly. They can give a forward looking assessment properly. Kindly read the last paragraph also, very, very important, marking it as star. Yes, yes. So the query is, are there any set format? Are there any set format for asking questions? Generally, each rating agency has a list of 20-30 questions which they generally ask, and also there are other subjective questions which are added by the analyst who is working on that project. Okay. Moving towards the next section. So once we have visited the management, now on the basis of all the data and assessment, we'll create a presentation. Okay, so if suppose I am an analyst or I am an associate, I will be creating a presentation on the basis of my understanding. Okay, what rating I should be giving. Okay, so this is the first draft report that is being created. Okay, this is an opinion. Okay, and this opinion, which is created by the analyst and associate, is sent out to the rating committee. Okay, so they have an internal rating committee. Okay, that report is given to that rating committee, and the analysts and associates are expected to do a presentation on that rating. Okay, now in the rating committees, you will find people who are senior in the organization, who have been working on the different industry for so long. They will ask you question why a particular information was not given in importance. Okay, why we should not give a lower rating to this company, why such a higher rating. So lot of questions will be asked, and there will be discussion on the rating which has been given, and that rating will be refined. That rating will be refined, and finally the committee will do a voting on the rating, and they will come up with a final rating with a consensus. Okay, that rating is being provided to the issuer. That means that rating is given to the ITC company, that this is what our rating committee has come up with. This is what our rating committee has come up with as a rating. Okay, so rating committee meeting. Sanjana, I'm coming to your question. Just a second. I'm coming towards your question, which is there on the next slide, which is resolved in the next slide. Okay, once you have decided, okay, once you have decided that, okay, my committee, our internal rating committee has come up with a rating, that rationale and everything is explained to the company. Okay, explained to the issuer. Okay, the rating which are not accepted, see दिख रहा है यहाँ पे additional facts are provided by the issuer. If suppose I'm ITC and I've been given a rating of BBB, now if ITC, I feel that no, this is incorrect because my company is doing so good, I'm getting so many projects and all of that, so I will try to give additional information to the rating agency and will ask them to change the rating on the basis of that new information. Okay, so that is where the discussion happens. Once the issuer accepts, very, very important point, once the issuer accepts the rating, okay, then only that rating is disseminated. That means given outside to the media, to the exchange. Okay, because if suppose I'm not taking his approval and informing outside market, that can have an impact on the share price of the company. That can have an impact on the share price of the company. Hence, the first approval is very, very important. Okay, and then the information is passed on to the relevant stakeholders outside. Now, this rating that we are coming up with, generally there is no time frame as such. Okay, suppose if I have rated ITC, okay, keeping in mind the decision for the next 2 years. Okay, but suppose after 3-4 months there are some new developments that is happening with the company ITC. Now I will have to reassess my rating. That is only possible when I am monitoring the possible change. This is the last point. This is the last point. That means whenever you are rating anybody, you keep on monitoring that rating. That means what is happening with that company, any new information, any change that is required in the rating. So many times you will see a rating has been upgraded, it has gone up, or it has downgraded, it has gone down. Now this is only possible because we look at continuous monitoring of that company or that sector, and that is why you have a specific team which specializes on that sector, who is also involved in the rating process. Okay, I hope I have answered your query, both Priyanka and Sanjana. Okay, any queries till now? This was the last step of the entire process where we are doing the continuous monitoring, looking at the changes. Any queries till now? Okay, now whenever I am rating, okay, any company, so what I generally do is, any rating agency creates, okay, they create a transition matrix. Now look at this transition matrix properly. Okay, this is important. This is also there in your FRM curriculum. Now for your FRM curriculum also, you need to just understand what this matrix talks about. Okay, first of all, this matrix is basically for 1 year. It is basically for 1 year only. Okay, now what does this rating matrix talk about is, suppose you started with triple B, that means the original rating was triple B. What is the probability that after 1 year you will still be on the same rating? 89.26% probability. So this transition matrix tells you after 1 year what is the probability of you moving up or you moving down or you remaining same. I'll take one more example. If suppose I am triple B, so I'm starting from here, triple B, that is my original rating. What is the probability of me going to triple A? 0.03%. 0.03%. It is the rating. The transition matrix is created by each individual rating agencies. They have their own individual transition matrix. It is not fixed for all. Okay, now can you guys tell me if suppose I am a single A rated company, what is the probability of me being a single B rated company at the end of the year? I started at single A, what is the probability of me becoming single B at the end of the year? Come on guys, I need your answer. Put it on chat. You do not need to remember any number. You need to understand the logic. Okay, that's correct. The answer is, I started out at single A, and the probability of me becoming a single B is 0.20%. That is 0.20%. Okay, suppose if I started with double A, what is the probability of me being in the same rating? What is the probability of me being in the same rating? Come on guys. That's correct, 91.72. Now I am asking a very different question. Please be with me. If suppose I am starting out with single B, what is the probability of me getting an upgrade? If I started out with a single B, what is the probability of me getting an upgrade? Galat. People are saying it is 5.77%. That's incorrect. Acha, if I'm standing on single B, when I'm saying I can upgrade, I can go to triple A also, I can go to double A also, I can go to single A also, right? So it means I'm asking for an addition of all of this. Did you guys get the logic? Can you please confirm? Did you guys get the logic? Yes, sum of all the probabilities. Now, if suppose if I am asking, if I am sitting in triple B, what is the probability of me getting downgraded after 1 year? I'm sitting on triple B. What is the probability of me getting a downgrade? That means this entire thing. We will also include default. I hope the transition matrix is clear to you guys. This is a base through which the rating agency decides. Okay, This is used in their calculation. Now, one more important slide, which I'm moving to the next slide now. One more important thing, the default probability. Suppose if I'm sitting on triple A, okay, if suppose I'm a rating agency and Amarnath is having a company, okay, Amarnath Batteries, okay, and that company wants to get it themselves rated as triple A. So if I'm a rating agency, I will go and check what is the probability of default. This is probability of default. If the probability of default is 0.001%, then only 0.001% or lesser, then only I will give them a rating of AAA. Did you get the logic? Did you get the logic? If suppose I see that the company's default rating, and let me complete. If the company's default probability, okay, is say for example around 5 to 7%, okay, then do you guys see I can rate him around this double B. Okay, so every rating agency will have their own individual probabilities mapped, probability of default mapped to the rating. Okay, and they will first check the probability of default, and on the basis of probability of default, they will come up with the rating. They will always go and check the first probability of default of that company, and then they will come up with the rating. Yeah, any questions till now? Any questions? Okay. So there is a query, what is that a model which is used for first time rating or rating upgrade or downgrade? Yes, every time there is any change or the first time rating, the rating agency will come, they have their own proprietary model which they use to decide the rating. Okay, I am moving. So we have completed this part, which means the how a rating and a probability of default is connected. Now, apart from doing the core business of rating, what does other activity that a rating agency does? Okay, what other activity does a rating agency does? So a rating agency also provides support for economy and company research. So government of India, if suppose they want to do a research on people who are there below poverty line in India, so they will go to a rating agency, for example, or any consulting company, and they will give them a project to do a research on our economy. Okay, similarly, if suppose I am Tata Group and I want to get an entire company research of one of my subsidiary, then I can go to a rating agency and ask them for their help. Obviously, I'll be paying. Okay, Tata Group will pay for that service. Okay, but these are the other activities which rating agency does, which is non-related to rating. Okay, economy and company research, that is the first thing. Next is risk consulting. Risk consulting is also a huge business. So these rating agencies also do risk consulting to banks, to major big corporates, okay, to other consulting firms also they provide services. Okay, this consulting means suppose if Sahara Group is planning to start out with a new project, before the project work actually starts, they can assign a project or assign a report to the rating agency to complete a risk analysis of this entire project and give a report to the Sahara Group. Okay, that is basically your risk consulting. This is very big business for them. This and this first two. Okay, fund research. So some of the rating agencies globally, what they also do is they do fund research for mutual funds. They also do research for hedge funds, okay, private equity funds, and they provide their report to them directly. Okay, it's basically an additional task which they can help out with. Advisory services. Okay, now suppose if I want to raise money from the market, I can go to a rating agency and I can ask them, is this the right time to raise money from the market? is my company in that right situation to raise money from the market? So they will give advisory services and I will pay them. Okay, so these are additional activity. Finally, KPO. So have you heard of TCS, Oracle, Accenture actually having a knowledge processing outsourcing work, which basically means they will assist other companies in their outsourcing activities. So credit rating agencies have also started doing. So they have different company altogether for this kind of work. So these are other non-rating related activity which is basically been covered, which is being done by the rating agencies. Any queries till now? Are we good to go till here? Are you guys with me?